After the first 18 holes, I was in the lead, but I was still super chill. I was like, okay, whatever happens, happens. And then I finished and I won, and then I played the US Open.
A very special episode of Everything School today. We're here with Bailey Davis. She's a senior on the women's golf team. Or do you think the beaches are different? Which one do you prefer, first of all?
The East Coast.
What?
Yeah, I mean, they were cool. The views were nice, like sunsets were nice, but it's cold. Like it gets cold, and it was in May, and it was like 70 degrees.
What up, Vol Nation? We're excited to bring a new show to you called Everything School. I'm your host, Kate Runyon. I'm a sophomore on the women's soccer team. We'll be dropping weekly episodes featuring all types of student athletes at the University of Tennessee. Check us out on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen to your pods. Follow us on social media for highlights of the show in the links below. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Really appreciate your guys' support. Hope you enjoy the show, and go Vols. A very special episode of Everything School today. We're here with Bailey Davis. She's a senior on the women's golf team, and we have been friends, I want to say we've been friends for what, a year now?
I would say so, maybe a little more, yeah.
She was one of the first people I wrote down that I wanted to have on the show. So Bailey, welcome. We're glad you're here.
Thank you, Kate.
Let's get into it. Talk about where you're from and like your family. Give us the background.
I am from Waldorf, Maryland, which is like 30 minutes south of DC. I'm an only child. My parents got divorced when I was real young, but they get along super well. They traveled all my tournaments together. I kind of chose Tennessee just because I wanted to be in a competitive environment in the SEC. They have amazing facilities. On my visit, I felt like I was already a part of the team, so I loved the team culture. And so now I'm super happy that I'm here.
Yeah. What was it like growing up in Maryland?
It was a relatively busy area, like being so close to DC, there was a lot that went on.
Yeah.
In Maryland, there weren't really a lot of golfers, and so golf wasn't super competitive. I had to travel a lot for tournaments. It was just like, the area that I was in, I don't think it was super exciting, but it was cool that I was super close to DC, but I would say it's very different than Knoxville. I'd say people are a lot nicer here. People are a little more aggressive back home and very to the point.
Yeah, that's like super East Coast too.
Yeah, things get sugar-coated a little more.
Did you spend
here.
a lot of time in DC, like in the city?
My mom worked in DC.
Okay, what did she do?
She works for the Federal Judicial Center, which is like, she deals with the
something kind of
I think
secret?
she helps to set up set up trainings for some of the judges, and
Sweet.
I really don't know the full extent. I probably should, but that's okay.
Like were you hanging out there like on the weekends or?
I would go up with my friends sometimes. I've never really done like the full touristy thing. In elementary school, we would take field trips to museums and stuff. It's been kind of cool to go to different museums, but I've never like been a tourist there.
Have you been in the White House?
No, I haven't.
What?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I want to say I've been in the White House.
Have you?
Yeah.
How do you not know?
Well, no, I have been to DC, and I have been in the White House.
You sure?
They let tourists in there, right? They let tourists in there. Yes, I've been in the White House. I'm sure.
No, I haven't been in. I've been in other things, but because I'm so close, I don't feel like it's a touristy attraction for me, you know?
Yeah.
Like if I go in, it's whatever.
Do you watch any like crazy political shows? Have you seen the show Scandal?
Okay, I watch How to Get Away with Murder.
Okay, that I guess is close.
I love How to Get Away with Murder.
I'm trying to think what else, like the Madam Vice President.
No.
I don't know what it was.
But they're just so not real. Like,
yeah, but it's kind of fun. You get to pretend a little bit.
I guess. I do love How to Get Away with Murder though.
Tell me like more about moving into high school. Where did you go to high school, and did you play any other sports besides golf?
Yeah, I went to North Point High School, which is in Waldorf, and I actually wasn't zoned there. I applied to get into a program. It was the Education Careers Program, and I loved teaching. There was a daycare that was attached to the school. I got to make lesson plans for the kids.
Are you serious?
And we would teach the lesson plans. I worked in the daycare before and after school, so that was awesome. The kids were 2 to 5, like ages 2 to 5. So that was super fun. I was the kid that had the like the pointer when I was 5 years old because I wanted to like pretend.
Right.
I pretended that I had a classroom in front of me and I'd be talking to the kids and teaching, and I would write on the whiteboard and I would just speak to no one. But it was so much fun and I loved it. And so then once I applied and I was in the program, I loved it. Like I loved working with the kids.
Yeah.
Making lesson plans was actually fun because I enjoyed doing it. I wanted to do education in college, but because of the hours interning and stuff like that, I wasn't able to with golf, but that's okay. And then I did play, I played volleyball from when I was...
What position?
I was a libero and a setter.
Okay.
I started off, I would say as a setter, and then kind of transitioned into a libero.
Yeah.
I started playing when I was super, super young. My dad was a coach. He coached in the military. Then he coached at a D3 school. And so I'd been around it my whole life. And then I played it in high school in the same season as golf. So that was hectic. But
how were you able to do both practices?
I would go to some volleyball practices and I would practice on my own with golf. The coaches kind of just let me do my own thing with that.
Gotcha.
And then very little did the games conflict, but at times I would rush from a golf match to a volleyball game. So that was crazy. I didn't do it after that. I just played club my last 2 years, and then after my junior year,
Did you ever have to pick between golf or volleyball?
Yes, and my parents made me choose golf. Right. Because they knew that was what I was going to do. But I just loved volleyball so much more at the time.
Yeah. Were you always super talented at golf, or when did you kind of realize like that was your thing?
I think I was pretty good when I was young, but I didn't like it because it was so boring.
Okay.
And I didn't have any friends that played it. And it was just such a quiet sport. I would have to miss so much to practice. It required a lot of practice, which I didn't like. But once I started meeting girls from all over the world and I started playing like really cool tournaments, I saw how many girls actually played it, because in Maryland, nobody plays it.
Gotcha.
So I didn't realize until I stepped out and saw everyone that did.
Were there any girls on your high school team who played golf?
So we were co-ed, but I was the only girl.
Wow.
I should probably know this, but I think we had a girl on the team my last year. I can't fully remember, but I was the only girl.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Girl boss, guys.
Yeah,
right
exactly.
Here. So what was it like then, like being, like having to train on your own and then like doing all that stuff by yourself? When did you actually fall in love? Might be too strong of a word if you're saying you used to hate it.
I understand.
But when did you fall in love with the sport?
I would say late middle school, maybe 8th grade, going into high school, because I saw all the other girls that played it and all the opportunities I could get from it. Like I started getting questionnaires from schools, and I know the rules are a lot different at that time, but at my time I could call a coach and they could pick up and we could have a conversation. Dang. And so I was in the 8th grade talking to big time coaches and like developing a relationship with them and hearing about their programs, and I'm like, wow, I could actually do something with this.
Do you remember your first call you had with the coach?
I do, yeah.
Tell me about it.
It was Purdue.
Okay.
And I was in the 7th grade.
No way.
Yeah. And there's a new coach there now, but he was older and he was more of an old fashioned coach. And so it was interesting that my first call was with one that had been around for a long time. Yeah. And I was super nervous. My parents were on the call with me. I guess we just talked about my game and I guess what he was looking for and a little about me. And then after that, I was able to do it on my own, but that's crazy. I haven't talked about that in a while. Really? Like my first call.
How does, for myself and everybody who's listening, how does golf recruitment work? Do you have to be under a certain score? How do you gain traction and get looks?
So we have big tournaments, as I'm sure a lot of other sports do, that girls play in. I'd say there's different circuits. Like there's a college golf circuit that a lot of girls play. There's a tournament circuit called the AJGA, which is the American Junior Golf Association. A lot of girls play tournaments under there. Peggy Kirk Bell. There's USGA tournaments that coaches can. Those are all in pretty much in America, but that coaches can travel to. Yeah. So like throughout the summer, even though my coach isn't here with me on campus, like even though I'm not here with her on campus, she's traveling to tournaments all over the world, recruiting girls from all over the world. So for example, I'm playing a tournament in January that's not affiliated with the university, but other amateur golfers are playing there. So junior golfers will be in the tournament as well.
Okay.
So coaches will be down there looking at those girls.
How does that work? How are you allowed to do that?
They can't speak to them. They'll follow them. So like throughout the 18 holes, they'll just be on the cart path watching their round, but they can't speak to them.
Could you mix in with the pro or the amateur golfers at all, or is that not allowed?
So I play amateur tournaments because I'm an amateur. I could play a professional tournament, but I'm not allowed to earn money. So I have played professional tournaments, but I'm not allowed to earn money. Okay. So.
Very cool.
Yeah. Nice. But the amateurs, like, that includes myself as well as a sophomore in high school, an 8th grader. So there could be sophomores in high school at the tournament I'm going to, coaches watching them. So. Yeah.
You said you met a lot of girls from all over the world. Mm-hmm. Do you guys have a lot of international players on your team?
We do.
I have class with 2 of them.
Yeah. We have 2 Americans.
Okay.
And 5 internationals. We have Thailand, Spain, Norway, Italy, and oh gosh. Who am I missing? Oh, South Africa.
South Africa?
Yeah.
Shout out BB and Martina. We love you guys. I like always see them at the soccer games. They sit in the same spot. I'm like,
they love supporting you guys.
Hey guys.
Yeah, they love you guys.
Do you guys play any tournaments here?
We did have a home tournament about a week and a half ago.
Okay.
At Cherokee Country Club. We have another home tournament, which we don't typically do 2 home tournaments. But we have another one at Box Den Country Club in Farragut in the spring.
Okay. Farragut is where the Topgolf is. Are you big on Topgolf?
It took me a second to figure out what you were talking about. Not really, but when I was back in Maryland, actually at home, in the winters, I would basically train at Topgolf because it was super expensive. But because that was the only thing we had. Otherwise, I would just have to hit inside. Like I didn't have a golf simulator.
Did you go there with your coach?
With my, just with my parents. They would take me in the winter. Yeah.
Did you get those donut holes?
No, I haven't, but their wings are amazing. No, and they're French. We've got in the morning. They're French toast. I think they have French toast.
They have breakfast?
They do. It's really good. It's like a brunch. Yeah. But I'm not a big Topgolf girl. Okay. I just would train there in the winter because that's all I could do.
I go there and I play the Angry Birds game. I think you'd tell me
I do like that game. That is kind of fun.
That was part of your training?
Yeah, exactly.
You guys want to be a Division I golf or Angry Birds game at Topgolf?
Yeah, exactly.
I have a funny golf story. So I think it was in the spring, I want to say May. I had to do an event for the Holston Hills Golf Club. Mm-hmm. And I thought I was just going there to kick off a lady vol kicking off the tournament. But I got there and the guy hands me a club.
Okay. He's
like, do you want to go practice? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, oh, you're doing the opening hit. I don't like golf. And so I'm like, standing there looking at him like, I guess, like, do you have any tips? I've never played golf before. I mean, when I was a kid, I would play with my dad sometimes, but like not seriously. And so like 20 minutes go by, they're doing the whole introduction thing. Mm-hmm. They're like, we have some lady balls here, like tee us off. I want to say it was Callie Borda and then Caroline Kerr. Mm-hmm. And I have to go, I think I went first or second, but I go up there to hit and I'm just like praying. Like I just hope I make contact with the ball. Thank God I like ripped it right through the middle. Okay. I don't know how, but I did.
Is that practice? That's 20-minute practice.
It was the Angry Birds.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I was so scared though. I don't know how you, like, do you ever whiff really bad?
No. Well, okay. One time I had to hit lefty.
Okay.
Because I was like in the trees and there was a tree and I couldn't hit righty. So I had to like turn around. Okay. Flip the club on the other side and hit lefty and I did miss the ball. That was really embarrassing. That was in college.
Right. Right.
That was my freshman year. We played a tournament at Florida and I remember I missed it. And like I had to, you could play it off and just be like, oh, it was a practice swing. But I told the girls like, oh, I missed the ball. So it counted as a strike. Yeah.
Too honest.
Yeah, exactly. But
that's funny. I think my brother, when he was in high school, he played golf, and he was 1 stroke away from making state, but one of his strokes was a whiff.
Oh gosh.
But he like told them still.
Oh, that's good.
So my parents were proud of him, but he was so mad.
Yeah, but moral integrity.
Yes, very important. Give me your, I guess you can count that as your worst golf story, but give me your most embarrassing golf moment, and then your most baller golf moment.
Okay, my most embarrassing. Oh goodness, that's kind of. I feel like I've had a few bad moments.
You could do the whiffing one.
That was embarrassing, but I had to have had more. Like, there's no way. One time I did. Okay, this doesn't relate to like skill.
Okay.
But you know, like the bunkers, like sand bunkers.
Yeah.
Okay. There was a big hill going into it, and I was like trying to walk down the hill, like being very careful. Mm-hmm. My feet went right from underneath me. I slipped on my butt, and I slid down the hill into the bunker. That was pretty embarrassing.
Did anyone see?
I was playing with my friends, and they did see.
Oh, dang.
This was in high school, but
that would have been really bad if it was like on TV.
Yeah, that would have been terrifying. I had a huge line on the bottom of my leg. Yeah, that was really embarrassing.
That's a good one.
Yeah. My proudest baller. I qualified for the US Open, so that was really fun.
Tell us about that.
So I went home in April of my freshman year to play a qualifier. They have qualifiers throughout. The US Open is like invite or you have to qualify.
Yeah.
And they have qualifiers throughout the country. I went back home. It was like Virginia area to play.
Okay.
And I wasn't playing the best at the time, so I was like super chill about it. I was like, I kind of just want to get the day over with. It is what it is.
Oh no.
After the first 18 holes, I was in the lead, but I was still super chill. I was like, okay, whatever happens, happens. And then I finished and I won. And then I played the US Open.
Were you freaking out?
Yeah, I was.
My
first round was terrible, but that's okay.
No. Where was the US Open that year?
It was in Pine Needles, which was in Pinehurst, North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your favorite course?
Ooh.
Do you have a picture of it?
Of the US Open?
No, well, let's get a picture of the US Open and of your favorite course.
I do have a picture of, yes, at the US Open.
Okay. We will put a picture of the US Open on the screen, and then after we'll put a picture of the course.
I have played Augusta, which is super, obviously.
My dad's played there.
Yeah, it's amazing. Love that. But I loved Medina. There's usually a college tournament there every year. And I played there my sophomore year. It's up in Chicago. It's beautiful. There's a lot of history there as well. So,
what's on your course bucket list?
I've never been to Pebble, and I really want to go.
I heard it's really pretty.
I haven't played in California much, and I would love to go to Pebble. Yeah.
I hope that works out for you.
Thanks.
You had a pretty good season last year. Can we talk about that?
Yeah. Go
You
ahead.
had the lowest round in an NCAA event in program history, correct?
Yes.
What did you shoot?
64.
What was going through your head when that was happening?
Honestly, I think my time here, I've just matured so much that I've been able to go low more and more often. And I'm super proud of that. Like that time at regionals, I was just focused on making birdies. Like honestly, I wasn't even thinking about, what could happen if I shoot 8 under. Like I was just so into the moment. And that's the best type of golf, when you're so into it. You're not thinking about what happens after. You're just doing your thing, and you're making putts, you're hitting good shots. It was a good day. And it didn't feel super out of the ordinary because I had been in that position before. It felt like, I've been here before. I know what to do. I know how to stay calm. So
I remember I was on my phone. I was like checking Instagram to see the updates of like how you're doing. And they kept like posting a score update. And they posted the final. I was like 64.
Yeah.
Everyone was reposting it. We're all hyped for you.
I do remember that.
Do you remember it?
Yes.
Then you went to nationals.
I did.
And where were nationals this past year?
Carlsbad, California.
Okay.
That was pretty cool. It was kind of lonely at times, obviously, because you want to be there with your team.
Yeah.
But it was a very cool experience. I'm so glad I got to experience it.
Yeah.
It was just, the best players in the country competing. Because I was an individual, I played with other individuals from schools. And so it was kind of interesting to see how, because I played my practice round with them, it was interesting to see how other coaches were coaching their girls. That was a different experience. And then playing with them.
Yeah.
My coach was with me the whole time. I had two. So that was very different. Yeah. But it was amazing to be there. The course was beautiful. It was brand new. It's like my second time in California, so it was cool.
Yeah. Did you get to go to the beach?
I did, actually.
Aww.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's very different than East Coast, but...
How do you think the beaches are different? Which one do you prefer, first of all?
The East Coast.
What?
Yeah, I mean, they were cool. The views were nice. Like, sunsets were nice. But it's cold. Like, it gets cold. And it was in May, and it was like 70 degrees. Like, I wasn't used to that.
Have you seen, random side question, have you seen snow on the beach?
No.
Ever? Isn't that an East Coast thing?
But I don't live... Like in Maryland, there's a Virginia, like Maryland is two peninsulas. There's a Virginia side and there's a beach side.
Okay.
I don't live on the beach side.
Dang it.
That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been on a very cold beach in South Carolina, but never snow.
Okay. I have never been on a cold beach before.
I don't recommend. I don't.
It's on my bucket list.
Okay.
Let's get into why you decided to come to Tennessee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you can go. I was just going to talk about your recruiting process.
Yeah, it was a lot. I wanted to make a well-informed decision. Like I said, you could talk to coaches in the 7th grade. Yeah. And so girls were committing in the 7th and 8th grade.
It's crazy.
Because golf, the team is, like, we have 7 girls. Mm-hmm. And so coaches want to know that they're going to have players for that year. I was the only one for my year. And I wanted to make a good decision. I didn't want to rush into it. And so there were times when I wanted to talk to a school, but they said, we already have our 2021. And I was literally 13. So, yeah. Wow. Tennessee was actually not one of my top. I took 1 million unofficials because I wanted to make sure that I saw the school, met the coaches. Yeah. My unofficials were good. And then I had 5 official visits set up. And the only schools, I had 4 that I was really interested in. And then Tennessee was... I didn't start talking to her till a lot later, till a couple months prior to my visit. Tennessee was literally just I'm going to throw this school in there just to have a 5th visit because you got 5 officials at the time.
What other schools were in the mix?
Louisville, Kentucky, Arkansas, Ohio State, and Tennessee. And Tennessee was my first one. And I had been to all the other ones except for Arkansas, but people had talked about Fayetteville and didn't say super great things about it. So I was okay with not going to Arkansas. But Tennessee was my first visit. I had all the others set up, and right after my visit, I committed. I canceled all my other visits.
Were you in Tennessee still when you committed?
I was on the plane ride home, and I was talking to my mom, and I was like,
What did it for you? I mean, you made the right choice, but what pushed you over?
I had been to a bunch of other schools, and people always told me, when you know, you'll know. And as soon as I was with the team and I was on campus, I felt like I didn't want to leave. Like when we were in the hotel, I told her I didn't want to leave. Yeah. And with the team, I felt like I was already a part of the team. They made me feel so welcome. They all texted me right after my visit. Oh my gosh, had such a great time. Hope you come here. The coach was telling me like everything the girls were saying, and I was like, wow, like I feel like I couldn't see myself going anywhere else. Yeah. And I would have been, she only wanted 1 for my class, and I would have been so upset if someone else took that spot. So I took it before anyone else.
Let's go. Go Vols, baby.
Yeah.
Talk about now, so you're a senior. What has it been like stepping into a leadership role on your team and continuing the culture that you experienced when you were visiting here to now?
Being so honest with you, I feel like from my freshman year, I've been kind of expected to be a little more of a leader, just because our team, my freshman year, we had 6 girls. It was super small. Wow. Because of COVID, we played 1 tournament with 4, which was terrible.
Oh gosh.
But it was just such a hectic, crazy year. And because I was a pretty good recruit coming in, I think my coach is expecting me to kind of step into that role early on. And I learned a lot from the girls that were ahead of me about how to be a leader. And I think that they helped me a lot. I've never felt like I've been the type of person to kind of sit back and just watch. I think if anything, my first year I did a little bit, just to kind of get the feel of everything. But since then, I think throughout my time here, I've tried to be more and more of a leader every year, but I feel like I have been kind of since the beginning. I think the difference this year is that from the spring into this fall, my performance has kind of grown as well. And so that's allowed me to be an even better leader. I don't believe that a leader is the best one on the team, like always, but I think that this year I've had a pretty good performance, being able to go to nationals. It just helped me have a bigger maturity level,
even having that experience.
Exactly. And so now I can help a lot of the younger girls. We have a transfer, and so help them kind of just learn how to be a better lady ball.
Who on your team are you excited to see grow and continue to get better?
That's a good question. Okay. Sophie Angeseth.
Okay.
She's from Norway. She's a sophomore, and she was injured a lot last year, but she works really hard, and she's a really good person and a really good teammate, and I love her. And I think that she's grown a lot this year, just her game, her maturity level, her knowledge, and I think that she could be a really good player if she continues to do what she's doing.
Yeah. What about flip it? Who do you look up to the most that you've played with in the past?
That's also a good question. Honestly, my current roommate who graduated last year. No.
Who? She looks up to you too, Kayla.
Vanessa.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry.
Kayla, we hope you're doing really good.
Sorry, Kayla. No, like that was no shade, no hate. Vanessa, I love Kayla. Love you, Kayla. I admired her game because it was so, in the past I was a little dumb aggressive, and Vanessa was just super fairway green two putt. Like her game was simple. I think she led in a different way. I think she led more by example, and I'm pretty vocal. And I think that she's also very strongly opinionated like me, but she listens and will take the time to understand different perspectives, which I can be a lot better at. But I've lived with her all 4 years. She's still here in Knoxville now. So I've grown a lot closer with her, and watching how she got better throughout the years, just through working hard and the leading by example without having to say much, I think was pretty big for me to see. Yeah.
I love it. We're going to move into the fast break segment of the podcast. The first question, so it's 5 questions. They're kind of fast. The first question is, what is your favorite song?
Geez. Hit My Line by Chris Brown.
Okay. Favorite movie?
Creed.
That's a good one. Favorite dessert?
Like red velvet cake.
Ooh. Celebration?
Like
golf celebration.
I'm pretty chill, but I'll give it, I could fist pump, but very rarely.
Really?
Yeah. I'm so chill. Like, I think I fist pumped probably twice since I've been in college, and it was like the moment deserved it, but yeah.
The fist bump, that's it.
Yeah.
This season, hit some crazy shot and like jump in the water.
If we win SECs, I'll jump in the water.
Okay, you guys heard it here first. And then your favorite athlete?
Oh, that's a great question. I feel like I should know my answer. I do love Tiger.
Yeah, Tiger Woods.
Yeah, big fan of Tiger.
Yeah. Well, Bailey, thank you so much for being on the podcast. We loved having you. We're going to put Bailey's socials right here. You guys can check her out, give her a follow, and we'll be cheering for you the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Thanks. Go Vols.
Go Vols.
Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of Everything School. Hope you guys enjoyed our conversation. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe wherever you find your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. You already know Rock Media has you covered for all things Tennessee athletics, and be sure to follow us on social media and check out the highlights from the show. Once again, I'm Kate Runyon. See you next time, and as always, go Vols!